Welcome to Triumph IAS. It's a daily mains practice question and answer series. This program is exclusively designed for UPSC CSE aspirants. In this video discussion, we will discuss UPSC CSE mains previous 25-year questions. Question number 1. Bring out the relationship between the shrinking Himalayan glaciers and the symptoms of climate change in the Indian subcontinent. Let's start with the introduction of the answer. Glaciers are a major source of fresh water, contribute 75% of the world's fresh water. However, increase in air pollutants, greenhouse gases, and shrinking carbon sinks like forests have induced climate change. The main body of the answer should be number 1. The Himalayan glaciers form one of the most ecologically sensitive zones that are bearing the brunt of climate change. Glaciers in the Himalayas have an intricate relationship with climate change. Number 2. The low-altitude glaciers are more sensitive to climate change and have lost a significant amount of water in the past 3 decades. The Gangotri Glacier in the Himalayas has been receding at an average rate of about 7 meters per year. Number 3. However, the high-altitude glaciers are not losing ice and some of them, like Karakoram, are in fact growing. Number 4. Climate change is also causing increasing climate variability like increased rainfall at end of monsoons, increase in avalanches and landslides, etc. Increase in melting of ice could lead to increase in mean sea temperature, potentially threatening the existence of many islands and coastal areas. Number 5. The reliability of rivers emerging from Himalayas has reduced due to climate change, which has led to irregular water availability. Climate change has put Himalayas into a vicious cycle where increase in the mean temperature accelerates the melting of glaciers and increased albedo further increases the mean temperature of planet. Conclusion of the answer is: as a consequence of the climate change, the current trends of glacial melt suggest that the Ganges, Indus, Brahmaputra, and other rivers could likely become seasonal rivers in the near future and could affect the livelihood of several million people and economy in the region. Question number 2. An athlete participates in Olympics for personal triumph and nation's glory. Victors are showered with cash incentives by various agencies on their return. Discuss the merit of state-sponsored talent hunt and its cultivation as against the rationale of a reward mechanism as encouragement. Let's start with the introduction of the answer. Despite being the second largest country of the world, India do not fare well in most of the sports. India's achievement in events like Olympics is not very encouraging. In India, the responsibilities of framing policies for sports, allocating grants, developing infrastructure, nurturing talents lies with the state. The main body of the answer should be number 1. Cash incentives as reward mechanism for successful athletes has limited outcomes and is not an ideal approach for overall development of sports in India. Number 2. Cash incentives as reward mechanism for successful athletes has limited outcomes and is not an ideal approach for overall development of sports in India. The state-sponsored talent hunt and its cultivation has far-reaching benefits when compared to reward mechanism as encouragement. Number 1. The faith on government agencies enhances because of transparent and talent-based selection method of sportsperson. Number 2. It will provide opportunities to the candidates from far-flung and rural areas to represent at national level. It will help to overcome the stigma related to gender in sports and broaden the scope for female players. Number 3. It will increase the economic viability of sports and encourage the young people to choose sports as a career. Number 4. Government-sponsored talent hunt will also create the auxiliary infrastructure like technicians, dietitians, logistics support, and thus create new job opportunities. Number 5. Selection of kids at young age as done in China will provide government with sufficient time to groom the talent. Conclusion of the answer is, it will boost India's presence in less popular sports like baseball, football and would create a roadmap for the sports authorities to extend their participation at the international platform. Question number 3. How and to what extent would microirrigation help in solving India's water crisis? Let's start with the introduction of the answer. India is facing a harsh water crisis due to increasing corporate/sign privatization, lack of proper government planning, industrial and human waste. The agriculture industry is also the major cause of the crisis. In this perspective, microirrigation is seen as a solution. The main body of the answer should be, microirrigation help in solving India's water crisis. Microirrigation can increase yields and decrease water, fertilizer and labor requirements. By applying water directly to the root zone, the practice reduces loss of water through conveyance, runoff, deep percolation and evaporation. It can help reduce overdependence on monsoon and vulnerability to drought. It can address the needs of dryland farming. However, microirrigation cannot ameliorate water stress due to poor agroclimatic choices in crops, such as sugarcane and paddy cultivation in Rajasthan. Also, the affordability of microirrigation systems would be a challenge for small and marginal farmers. Conclusion of the answer is, precision farming will usher in the next agricultural revolution. Microirrigation can serve as a stepping stone toward making farming more sustainable, profitable, and productive.